itch page.
Fun.
One year frost is the situation is the planet was taken over by the frost nomads, a race of giants that invade a planet to remove all of their resources. Fortunately, underground bunkers were built to save humanity before their arrival. Not everyone has made it though. Survive for a year under these strange weather conditions while attempting to rescue any humans you see left out in the cold. This is a mobile game where it's based on simple controls of just using your thumb for the controls, and you interact with different items and people and objects to do things with them. And yeah, we'll jump into the gameplay real quick. Also, I believe this was developed by MrTroy as one of his I think first mobile game that he's worked on. So this is kind of interesting.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah. I'll go on mute while we do this.
And yeah, if Troy, if you want to say a few words or introduce yourself or talk about it while we're watching some of the gameplay, please feel free. Ooh, yeah, I already heard a little bit of this background music, but very soothing stuff.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So this was an interesting experiment for me. The game plays in portrait mode, not landscape, and it has a single finger control. So you just put your thumb on the screen and you move around that way. Once you stop moving, if you're standing in front of something, you immediately start going to work on it. I do assure everybody there are enemies in the game. They just spawn really far away from the base the first week, just to make the game actually playable and easy. The weeks are like 3 or 4 days, and at the end of the week, off screen, one of the giants comes and removes the base and puts it into a new area. So everything that you saw is going to respawn. And so if you don't rescue someone, they're not going to be in the same exact place that they were when you last saw them. The guy that I was just talking to tells you exactly where you need to go for the next thing, which would be someone who's out frozen in the snow, or the blueprints for other things for you to build.
Okay. So is it more like a survival kind of game of sorts?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool.
It's a little difficult to make a survival game that requires a lot of balancing.
Right.
In a short period of time. I was going to make the game very, very punishing, and that kind of turns people off of playing my games. So that's why it's safe to walk around at night.
Personally, as a cozy gamer myself, I appreciate the easy mode. But yeah, it looks so cute.
There's currently only one way to lose at the game, and that's if you're not in the base at the end of the week. You get left behind.
Okay. I see. So this is the base that we saw right there at the end of the video?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, awesome. I guess I'm just going to ask you a few more questions about the game as you're walking us through, but how did you, I guess we'll start with how did you come up with this idea for surrounding the theme and just creating a survival game in general for this jam? Hey.
It started because I've been playing a lot of mobile games just on whim, and I started playing games that are very, very ad heavy. And a few of the ads had a very specific play mechanic of use a thumbstick or use your thumb to move to an area and interact with stuff just by standing in that spot. And I said, I wonder if I can make a long form game that plays that way. So this was my attempt at it. I've been noodling around a lot with a really cute aesthetic, So I started trying to make something that looks like Animal Crossing, but not Animal Crossing. I'm trying to remember the Long Winter, I think the game is called.
Long Winter, yeah.
I was inspired by that as well. I was going to put guns in the game, but time ran out. So right now there's no way to kill the enemies, but there are enemies. They will mess you up, and if they kill you while you're not in base, you spawn back in base, but a long period of time goes by. So you have to be really careful not to get knocked out on that last day before the frost giant moves the base around.
Gotcha. So the main goal is to like gather enough resources or just keep yourself safe before the move at the end of the week.
Yes.
Okay.
The end goal was going to be you have to keep getting resources in order to power some machine that's going to be available in one of the later weeks. And time.
Of course. 2 weeks is, you always think that you have more time than you do. I feel you on that.
This game was super ambitious for me. I kept basing everything off of how long it took for me to do my last game, and I didn't think about it until the last minute, but I had half as much time as I had with my last game, so all the features that I had planned and I thought I would be able to get done, I just didn't have the time to do it.
Yeah, but I feel you. It sounds like it was a lot of fun, actually. Like, what for you is like the best part of having made this?
This is really goofy, but it was every day taking small videos and putting them on the Discord and seeing people react to it. Y'all don't realize that really made my night. It feels like someone's actually watching me develop, and that's a good feeling.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad the MGK community was interacting like that. That's so engageful. I really appreciate hearing that. That warms me.
That was partially me. I mean, it was nice to see the updates as you were building, because I think it's generally kind of hard to remember to update about something that as you're working on it, but it's like journaling a little bit, right? Like you're just trying to like put a pin in it, and then
I was kind of hoping that anyone else who was developing something, they would kind of get inspired to follow the same, so I don't feel like I'm working by myself. Like I'm really big on game jam community, so like all of us working together, just kind of like they're just rooting each other on and such.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to point out a few things that didn't make it in the game. Someone had asked about it. So there's, towards the later part of the game, there's a hunter that you can find, and he's supposed to replenish the amount of food that you have in the base, because there's a hunger meter and you can eventually starve to death. And one of the game overs was going to be if you didn't have enough food to support everybody in the base at the same time. That didn't make it in. There's a gold system where you collect gold and you're supposed to buy things, but that didn't make it in. I also wanted to have mini games that you would play, because between the hours of like 2100 and 500, it's dark out, so you need something to do just to kill time, and going to sleep was just it felt wrong. Like it was bad enough that when the hunger meter was going too fast, I would go to sleep and have sleep for dinner. So that's one of the things that I removed from the game, because your hunger meter was supposed to automatically go up when you went to sleep, and I was like, that's kind of morbid.
Well, do you plan on like adding those features in the future at all, or expanding on this project? Or
as soon as we're done on this call, I'm getting right back to it.
Awesome.
I will leave up this current version so that people can see where it started. And I'm just going to create a new itch page that's going to be the definitive version of the game. So that way I can continue to add on as people make suggestions.
Awesome.
Well, now you can keep adding to the itch page. It's open. I mean, once you make it, you make it.
Yeah, it's that thing. Whenever I make a game jam game, it has to be that jam version that people can always go back to and see.
That's good.
It's like saving a moment in time. I see. Well.
Well, yeah, I want to bring in our theme here a little bit too. I see that there's weather in there, so I was wondering how did the theme kind of get incorporated in there with it being winds of change and the whole African diaspora focus. I'm only guessing here, but was the weather a factor of that, or was that a coincidence?
That was the original factor, and then someone said, but what's changing? And I'm like, okay, I need something to change. And that's why it has that roguelite element where the world around you changes once a week.
Right.
And just in case anyone's playing it now, that when you first start the game, there's someone laying there in the snow. If you don't rescue them in the first week, they get teleported somewhere else, so it's harder to find them.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Don't be mean, just save that person. I'm trying to remember there was one specifically that I focused on, and I think it was black pepper, but I'm trying to remember what black pepper was.
Yes, I can share again. So black pepper definitely was the simple game mechanic. So sometimes simple is best. So using only one button, which I like. I think you incorporated fairly well with the walking pad, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's super simple mechanic for people to understand. They know exactly intuitively where to go. I think especially like I know me, like that would be such a perfect mobile game for when I'm falling asleep and my brain cells are shutting down. It's just, okay, we're going this and this way, and you don't have to think too hard. I feel like it's really got a cozy game feel, and I love the way that it looks so low poly, and like you were saying, it's very Animal Crossing inspired. If you can't tell from the color scheme, I also really enjoy Animal Crossing. So to me, it was such a cute, and I think I saw people saying in the chat as well, just such a cute game. The sound and the ambiance were really amazing. But yeah, I definitely saw the simple mechanic and how you explained it in the beginning. It's wonderful.
Agreed. That was a good choice. And that makes me think about some of the discussions that we had leading up to the jam as well. We talked about the two differences between games that have you adapt to your environment and then games where the environment like adapts almost to you. Like there's different ways to kind of explore that kind of change dynamic, and so the usual is like, how do you adapt to the way your environment is changing around you, and deal with the things out of your control, right? So it's always an interesting thing to think about for these survival games. Like it puts you in those shoes.
Yeah. Well, I think like contrary to the super fun parts of it, what do you think was like the hardest? I also see people asking in the chat, like, how did you manage your time too? So I kind of wanted to tack that in there. But what was the hardest thing?
The world is never on fire unless I'm developing a game. Everyone calls me, like I have people who came in from out of town, and I'm like, I haven't seen you in years, so I can't just not. I get kind of insane when I do game jams though. So I have to make sure that I do make an actual schedule for myself. I tried to make sure that I was available in case anyone needed any help after 5:30 Pacific time. But I tend to work from the moment that I wake up till the moment that I go to sleep. And that is not a good way for everybody to develop, but that's kind of what I do. But it gives me certain abilities that I don't know how else to put this. I've been up since 5, and I went to bed at 2. So
Oh,
I'm going to ramble sandwich a little bit as I try to put my thoughts together. Um, I realized, like, when there was less than 3 hours left, that I didn't have any music in the game, so I had to quickly like stop using my main computer and go to my audio system and start trying to put something together. Um, I, I I think I did a good job with the music. If I did, someone like just give me the thumbs up.
no, yes, it was very calming. It was very calming and it was very chill vibes.
um,
Evan said Interstellar was the reminder he gave up.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
the other thing, and I was having a private conversation with Tim about this, is I I have trouble working in groups because of my like always wanting to be working. And sometimes when I work on a team, it makes other people feel like they have to work that same way. And I never want people to feel that way. Like everybody needs to work at their own pace. So I tend to work alone because I don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. I don't know if that makes sense. Or like I said, I'm just going to keep rambling.
No, that makes complete sense. I understand what you're saying. It's just sometimes developer styles are different, like, being locked in sometimes, and not everyone is that. But for sure, I definitely think that your game was so, 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 so amazing. Before we have to move on to the next game, if you had to expand and sell your game to a studio, what studio would you ship to, if you have an answer for that? Or just a general plan?
I honestly don't know. And my quick answer was going to be Voodoo, because they made this game called Mob Control that I'm addicted to. And Mob Control is the start of this mobile game addiction that I have now, because I started playing it, all the ads that popped up, I would say, hey, I want to try that game, and then I would download it. But yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Troy. Your game was such a delight. Thank you for kicking us off here. Please go check it out. We will have all the links in the Discord. I am also assuming they're up on the itch page as well. So if you guys want to go play these games after, please interact. It sounds like there's great plans for potential expansion. So follow the developer's journey. And thank you guys for supporting. I don't know, that just warmed my heart to hear that everyone is interacting and excited. So, but yeah, thank you so much. And without further ado, we will transition on to our next game.